love a good sleek sedan like this one. This is the new Honda Accord. There's only one variant on sale in Australia to make things easy. It's called the HEV RS. Hybrid system, 2-litre petrol engine paired with an electric motor, front wheel drive, CVT, combined power 152 kilowatts, which is not that impressive in the scheme of things, like the Toyota Camry hybrid now, 170 kilowatts. But I do love the whole character and design of this thing. Very neat and tidy proportions, but with some Honda characteristics in there, like the front end, slim headlights, and then being the RS model, you get a number of black details, like a very cool lip spoiler on the boot. You've also got RS badge on the back there, making it look really sporty, and this JDM style full width taillight trim with black section in the middle. I love these rims. They're only 18 inches, but this black sort of extended inner rim, I don't know, just looks really cool, and it matches all the black trimmings around the outside as well. In this example, you probably can't see it, but there's a black skirt that goes all the way along the bottom and around at the front as well with black grille. It's unfortunate that SUVs and utes are taking over the kind of family duties, because this is, yeah, it does everything that you need. It is pretty pricey though, being the single variant, and it's a high spec variant, the RS, $64,900 drive away. And for that, you can get yourself a pretty good mid-size SUV that offers similar space and packaging. Inside, it's all about practicality with a hint of style mixed in. So you've got Honda's latest full width grille vent there, although it is a little bit deceiving because the main air conditioning vents are just here, and then there's nothing behind that, and it continues over to the passenger side vent. But it is all seamless and looks pretty cool and unique to Honda. Up on the dash here, we've got a big touch screen with pretty basic graphics and sort of menu layout. You've just got the simple apps laid out in a grid when you push the home button, and it does feature integrated Google services as well. You can connect to Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. This is Android Auto, and it's just got some of your apps from your phone mirrored onto the screen. And then for the driver, you've got another digital gauge cluster there. There you can see I'm averaging 5.7 litres per 100 kilometres, which is very good for a big sedan, but not the best in this class, for a hybrid anyway. Down below, we've got this very interesting and I think annoying little climate control toggle. So I still haven't got completely used to it. You've got recommended auto, colder auto, warmer auto, rapid cooling. It's just a little bit too complex for a climate control system. I feel like sometimes car makers just want to be different for the sake of it, which is fine, but if it's interesting or functional, then great. Whereas this, I just don't see the benefit of it. It's really annoying. I'm going to have to spend some time with it to fully understand, but what happened to just good old toggle switches for the climate control? If I want to turn this fan speed up, like, what do I do? Just turn this or hit the settings button here, which doesn't do anything. So I'm still learning all this sort of stuff, but why make it so complicated? There's no need to reinvent the wheel with this sort of stuff. It's just climate control. We just want cool air coming into the cabin or warm air coming into the cabin, depending on what season it is. It's very hot outside and I want cool air. You've got a wireless phone charger down there, twin cup holders. They're kind of adjustable as well, so it can take different size cups, and then a decent size center console box. Fit and finish around the place is really good, as you'd expect from a Honda. It's got this kind of recycled soft touch material along the top of the door trim, or it looks like recycled material, and then some leatherette trim down below. All the way down the bottom, you do have plastic, but it's kind of softer plastic. It's not completely scratchy plastic, like in a lot of vehicles. And a beautiful little sports steering wheel, 3-spoke, perfect size in my opinion, and you can adjust it for rake and reach to get a perfect driving position. You do sit quite low, being a sedan, which, you know, if you've just jumped out of an SUV, that probably will bother you a little bit. And in the back, we've got a nice big rear seat area. Plenty of leg room. Like, look at that. My knees are nowhere near the seats there. That's in my standard position. Even if I was a taller driver and had the seat back a fair bit, my knee would still need to be quite long before it touched that seat. The only problem is it does have a big center driveline tunnel, which is unusual because this is front wheel drive only, in Australia anyway. But you do have climate vents and twin charging ports. I think the Camry might have this for overall rear seat space. Legroom is very impressive, but my head is getting pretty close to that ceiling, and I'm not very tall. I'm only 170 centimeters. So if I was quite tall, my legs would be fine, but my head would start to get close to the ceiling. It does have a full panoramic sunroof, which obviously causes the roof or the ceiling to drop down a little bit. Do have cup holders in the back as well. Even this little cover just feels nice. It doesn't feel cheap and flimsy, and it's nice to have a cover over it, so you can just use that for some sort of bench or something. You don't have to put drinks in it. Ambient lighting as well that extends to the back seat, so that strip along there changes color depending on what climate control and all sorts of settings you've got. It goes all the way around the perimeter of the cabin, and you do have pop-up sun blinds as well. In the back, a nice sized boot, stretches all the way in there, and you can pop down the rear seats. There is a bit of a bulkhead there that you've got to get around if you want to feed through large and bulky items. But yeah, you can pop down the rear seats to poke through longer things. And then under the floor, we've got some extra storage, good for wet items or anything like that, because it's all contained within that bucket. Then you've got a tyre repair kit there. All right, let's go for a drive and see how this thing goes. I'm not expecting too much from the performance side of things, but I'm expecting pretty good handling. Honda always put together very good handling vehicles, even down to the base model. Like even the old Honda Jazz used to be pretty exciting little steerer. So I'm expecting this to handle probably at the top of its class, compared with things like the Toyota Camry, even the Skoda Superb to some level. That's a good handling vehicle as well, but we'll see how it goes. Out on the road, and I've developed a bit of a love-hate relationship with some of the buttons and controls. What I mean is they're very defined in their action. For example, the indicator, it's got a, you know the indicator is on, it's clicking very firmly, but I feel like it could be just damped a little bit nicer. It's not soft in its action. I know I'm being very picky, but even the switches on the steering wheel, they've got like a real clicky function to them, which is both good and bad, because you know they're on, but at the same time you want something that's a little bit more refined for this price range anyway. What about the driving though? Yeah, well, this feels very low and flat, very neutral. The steering is communicative. I know what's going on. There's a bit of weight to it when you wind it in a bit and go around some corners. Yeah, it feels really nice, as you would expect from a Honda. The ride quality is slightly on the sporty side compared with the comfort side. If you had a whole spectrum there, it'd be just to the sporty side. For example, the Toyota Camry is a bit softer, it's a bit more comfortable, I guess. But when you're on country roads like this, as I've said before, it's probably better to have something that's a bit taut and a bit firm, because you've got better body control. So when you're hitting bumps and undulations and bouncing all over the place, you want the body to remain very stable, and that's what this does or has. You can turn it in and hit a mid-corner bump, and it still remains very stable and sure-footed. You've got a few different driving modes to choose from, including Eco or Econ, Normal, Individual, and Sport. In Sport mode, you do have some artificial sound coming through the speakers. I'll just slow down and show you the kick down. So 60 kilometers an hour, full throttle. Yeah, it's kind of got this Honda throaty little roar, even if it is mostly fake. It does feel and add to the engagement a little bit. I'm not a fan of fake sounds coming through the speakers, but that's actually not too bad. I'll just put it back into Eco or Normal for you and then show you the difference. Slow down, coming up to an 80 zone, 30 kilometers an hour. So you can still hear that sort of Honda, old school VTEC roaring sound. It's just quite distant and the volume is down. Whereas when you put it into sport mode, the volume just is turned up a bit, but yeah, it is artificially enhanced. In terms of the performance and overtaking and all of that, the battery level does make a difference. It influences how the vehicle goes quite a bit. During the performance testing, I did quite a few runs. The Vbox results at the end, by the way, are with maximum battery capacity or maximum battery charge, even if on the camera the battery is quite low and the vehicle doesn't seem to match the time shown at the end, if that makes sense. It's just that I was running up and down doing the filming, so the battery level dropped right down. But what I'm getting at is the performance is reliant on the battery level. So if you've got a low battery, then it does go a little bit slower. I recorded about 1.5 seconds slower with the battery level at low. It doesn't actually go to empty, it just goes right down to that L, the start of that L section. Overall though, I do love that Honda has launched a new sedan and in RS form. It's got a bit of style and a bit of sportiness to it. It's quite suave, and yeah, especially the rear end, it looks really cool. Build quality and everything is really good as per usual with Honda, and it's quite practical, easy to see out of. I can see over that front corner quite easily. Through the back is a little bit tighter. It does have a fairly thick C-pillar, and the rear windscreen does, you know, rake down in like a coupe kind of format almost. But overall, yeah, very easy to drive. All right, let's head out now to the performance test and see what it goes like.